A double-edged sword, wealth is blessing and responsibility. The Bible acknowledges that wealth can be a blessing. It allows for comfort and provision. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 18 reminds us that it is God who gives us the power to produce wealth. However, this blessing comes with a significant responsibility. We are called to be stewards, not owners, of our wealth. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 17 to 19 encourages the rich to be generous and willing to share. Wealth becomes a stumbling block when we hoard it instead of using it for good. The Bible recognizes the work ethic necessary for wealth creation. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 4 states, "Diligent hands bring wealth," but true wealth encompasses more than material possessions. Proverbs chapter 22 verse 1 tells us, "A good name is more desirable than great riches. Our character and integrity are far more valuable than any earthly treasure." Ultimately, our attitude towards wealth reveals our hearts. Are we grateful for what we have and willing to use it for God's purposes? Or are we consumed by acquiring more, neglecting the spiritual dimension of life? The Bible challenges us to find the balance between enjoying God's blessings and remaining faithful stewards of all He entrusts to us. The siren song of riches, temptation, and spiritual downfall. While wealth itself is not inherently evil, the love of money poses a grave danger. It can become an all-consuming desire that blinds us to the more important aspects of life. The pursuit of wealth can lead to a never-ending cycle of wanting more, never feeling satisfied with what we have. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 10 warns, "For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil." This verse highlights the potential for money to corrupt our morals and values, leading us down a path of spiritual decay. When money becomes our primary focus, it can lead to greed, envy, and a host of other sins. These negative emotions can consume us, making us lose sight of what truly matters in life. It can distract us from what truly matters, our relationship with God and others. Our spiritual well-being and our connections with loved ones can suffer as we become more obsessed with accumulating wealth. Jesus himself warned about the deceitfulness of wealth. He knew that the allure of riches could easily lead people astray, away from the path of righteousness. In the parable of the sower, found in Mark chapter 4 verse 19, he describes how the cares of this world and the desire for riches can choke out the word of God in our lives. This parable serves as a powerful reminder of the dangers of letting material concerns overshadow our spiritual growth. We can become so preoccupied with accumulating wealth that we neglect our spiritual growth and our responsibility to love and serve others. Our focus shifts from selflessness to selfishness, from giving to hoarding. The pursuit of wealth for its own sake can lead to emptiness and dissatisfaction. No matter how much we acquire, it never seems to be enough to fill the void within us. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 10 laments, "Whoever loves money never has enough." This verse speaks to the insatiable nature of greed and the perpetual longing for more that it creates. Material possessions can never satisfy the deepest longings of the human heart. They may bring temporary pleasure, but they cannot provide the lasting joy and contentment that we seek. They may provide temporary pleasure, but they cannot offer true and lasting joy. True happiness comes from within, from a sense of purpose and connection to something greater than ourselves. The Bible provides numerous examples of individuals who were corrupted by wealth. These stories serve as cautionary tales, warning us of the dangers of letting money take precedence over our spiritual values. King Solomon, despite his wisdom, allowed his vast riches to lead him astray. His story is a powerful reminder that even the wisest among us can fall victim to the temptations of wealth. His story serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that true fulfillment is found not in material abundance, but in a right relationship with God. By prioritizing our spiritual well-being and our relationships with others, we can find a deeper sense of peace and contentment that money can never provide. Ultimately, the key to overcoming the temptation of wealth lies in generosity and selflessness. By giving to others and focusing on the needs of those around us, we can break free from the grip of materialism and find true joy in serving others. In the end, it is not the accumulation of wealth that brings happiness, but the love and compassion we show to others. By living a life of generosity and kindness, we can find true fulfillment and avoid the spiritual downfall that comes with the love of money. A call to action. Wealth and the pursuit of social justice. The Bible is replete with calls for social justice, emphasizing the needs of the poor and oppressed. From the Old Testament to the New Testament, the scriptures consistently highlight the importance of caring for those who are less fortunate. This is not just a suggestion, but a divine mandate that has been echoed through the ages. Wealth is not meant to be hoarded, but to be shared. The accumulation of wealth for its own sake is seen as contrary to the teachings of the Bible. Instead, wealth should be viewed as a tool, a means to an end. That end being the betterment of society and the upliftment of those in need. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 9 states, "The generous will themselves be blessed, for they share their food with the poor." This verse underscores the reciprocal nature of generosity. When we give, we not only help others, but also receive blessings in return. It's a cycle of kindness that benefits everyone involved. God has a special concern for the vulnerable and marginalized. Throughout the Bible, there are numerous instances where God intervenes on behalf of the oppressed, the widow, the orphan, and the stranger. These stories serve as powerful reminders of our duty to protect and support those who cannot fend for themselves. Deuteronomy chapter 15, verses 7 to 8 instructs, "If anyone is poor among your fellow Israelites, do not be hard-hearted or tight-fisted toward them." This passage calls for empathy and generosity, urging us to open our hearts and hands to those in need. Rather be open-handed and freely lend them whatever they need. The act of giving should be done willingly and with a joyful heart, not out of obligation or reluctance. True generosity comes from a place of love and compassion. Our wealth should be used to alleviate suffering and promote justice. This means going beyond mere charity and addressing the root causes of poverty and inequality. By using our resources wisely, we can create lasting change and build a more just society. Isaiah chapter 58 verses 6 to 7 calls us to loose the chains of injustice, to share your food with the hungry, and to provide the poor wanderer with shelter. These verses challenge us to take concrete actions to fight injustice and support those in need. True faith is demonstrated not just in words, but in action, in our willingness to put our resources to work for the good of others. Faith without works is dead, as the Bible teaches. Our actions speak louder than our words, and it is through our deeds that we truly live out our faith. We are called to be agents of God's love and compassion in the world. This means actively seeking out opportunities to help others, to show kindness, and to make a positive impact in our communities. This includes using our wealth to create a more just and equitable society, where the needs of all are met and everyone has the opportunity to thrive. By doing so, we honor the teachings of the Bible and fulfill our divine calling to be stewards of God's creation. Section 4. True riches, the enduring value of spiritual wealth. The Bible draws a clear distinction between material wealth and spiritual wealth. While material possessions are temporary, spiritual riches last for eternity. Matthew chapter 6 verses 19 to 20 warns against storing up treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and thieves break in and steal. Instead, we are encouraged to store up treasures in heaven, where they will endure forever. True wealth is found in our relationship with God. It is in knowing Him, loving Him, and being conformed to His image. This kind of wealth cannot be bought, sold, or stolen. It is a gift of God's grace received through faith in Jesus Christ. Spiritual wealth is marked by qualities such as love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, as mentioned in Galatians chapter 5 verses 22 to 23. These are the true treasures that bring lasting satisfaction and purpose to life. While material possessions can be lost or taken away, spiritual riches remain. They are the source of true contentment, security, and hope. When we prioritize our relationship with God and seek His kingdom first, He promises to provide for all our needs, as stated in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. Section 5. The crucible of prosperity. Wealth as a test of character. Wealth can act as a powerful test of character, revealing our true priorities and allegiances. It is a mirror that reflects the deepest inclinations of our hearts, showing us what we truly value and where our loyalties lie. It can either draw us closer to God or lead us further away. The allure of wealth can be a spiritual magnet, pulling us in different directions, testing our faith and devotion. Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 2 states, Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years to humble and test you in order to teach you what was in your heart. This passage reminds us that the journey through prosperity is as much a test as the journey through hardship. When handled properly, wealth can be a tool for spiritual growth. It can be a means to cultivate virtues such as generosity, compassion, and humility. It allows us to be generous, to bless others, and to make a tangible difference in the lives of those around us. Wealth can be a conduit for love and service, a way to extend God's grace to others, and to advance God's kingdom. Through our resources, we can support ministries, build communities, and spread the message of hope and redemption. It provides opportunities to demonstrate our trust in God and our dependence on Him. By using our wealth wisely, we show that our faith is not in material possessions, but in the one who provides them. However, wealth can also expose the idols of our hearts. It can reveal our hidden desires and the things we place above God. It can tempt us to trust in our own resources rather than in God. The security that wealth seems to offer can be a deceptive trap, leading us to rely on our own strength instead of God's provision. It can fuel pride, greed, and a sense of entitlement. The more we have, the more we may feel we deserve. And this can lead to a dangerous sense of self-sufficiency. It can create a barrier between us and God as we become more attached to our possessions than to Him. The love of wealth can cloud our spiritual vision, making it harder to see and follow God's will. The way we respond to wealth reveals our true spiritual condition. It shows whether we are truly seeking God's kingdom or merely building our own. Are we using it for God's glory or for our own selfish desires? This question is at the heart of the test that wealth presents. Are we holding it loosely, recognizing it as a gift from God, meant to be shared and used for good, or are we clinging to it tightly, allowing it to control us? The grip we have on our wealth can indicate the grip it has on our hearts. Wealth can be a blessing or a curse, depending on the condition of our hearts. It is a tool that can either build up or tear down, depending on how we choose to use it. The true test lies in our response, in whether we allow it to draw us closer to God or to pull us away from Him.